welcome back. Miserations for going out. Weird second half. Like, I wanted to get your opinion on that first of all, because a lot of Liverpool fans watching this, a few have tweeted saying the same thing. It was almost like Klopp and Liverpool gave up with 25 minutes to 30 minutes to go. What was your take on that?
It's always important to start off the game in either half on the front foot. And contrary to the first half, the second half, Atalanta just turned it up another gear and they started dominating the game. And we looked like we were devoid of confidence. I think after Mo Salah missed that chance, I think the players started to realize that element of doubt started to creep back in, and they just looked devoid of anything. The only issue that big issue I had of this game was that Atalanta played the exact same way that they played at Anfield, and we still didn't know how to break it down. That is a big issue. If you can't be able to sort that out within a week, I'm sorry, what are you doing on the training pitch? What are you and Pep Lenders are doing in the back room, sorting out tactics for the game? Like the same thing, and we keep going backwards, sideways. We couldn't get the ball and turn. We couldn't do anything. And the fact that we kept on getting pegged back every single time McAllister had the ball, or even Jones and Szoboszlai had the ball, it was absolutely... It was a really, really bad watch, embarrassing to watch in my opinion. And look, not the best way to go out of Europe, but at the end of the day, all we can do now is try and win as much games and try and make this as best a leave as possible, because in my opinion, the league is more or less done. I'm going to have to ask my dad to do a big favor in beating Man City, but let's be honest, I can't see Man City dropping points from here, and we taking all 3 in every single game that we have, in my opinion.
Yeah, listen, I hear you. It's not ending the way you want it to. G is here with us. I'll just ask him, Ram, the second half, the substitutions, whether it was giving up, whether it was just poor mistakes from Klopp, it really didn't help you go after those next 2 goals. It went really, really flat and tired.
Terry, man, how long have I been coming on the football terrace? Probably like a year now. Said from back then, when I ask you to coach, just go and coach. When there's no individual brilliance, just go and coach, man. Try and coach, the team to be able to do something. Both him and the players just look baffled when the man-to-man marking kicked in properly anyway. Really and truly, really in that second half. First half, they were doing it, but it just seemed like maybe they were caught in between 2 minds at times anyway. But that second half, when I ask you to go and coach, go and do something, tactically, whatever it is you need to do, just go and do it. He couldn't do that. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was no idea. He had no idea what to do. He looked so confused on the touchline. The players, obviously, that then transcends to the players. Now they are baffled. When that man-to-man marking is going on and you've got players who are willing to run with you anywhere on the pitch, I need you to go and say something. I need you to do something. I need you to try and change something up. He couldn't do that. And then this is the result. You need a goal. Imagine you need a goal and you say, you know what? I'm going to take off my best goal scorer, and I'm going to, even though he's playing pants anyway, but I'm going to take off my best goal scorer, my best creator, and my most energized player on the pitch. And I'm going to bring on a guy who's just come back from injury, a guy that we don't know if he's going to be R9 or Andy Carroll one week. And I'll bring on a guy who made his debut like a few weeks ago. Those are the substitutions that you're making? Really? When we needed a goal? That's what you did. That was the tactical nous that people talk about. I'm sorry, man. Like that, that's embarrassing. And Liverpool deserved to go out.
It was a defeatist move.
In the work. Yeah, exactly. It was a defeatist move. And when I look at those kind of things, I looked at it and I was just laughing, Terry. I was just laughing because I just said, this is what you were trying to tell me about. We're going to be giving 100% and we're going to do this and we're going to like this. Really? This is what you brought to the table. I'm sorry, man. But you could, those kind of things, I don't care that we won 1-0 on the night. We deserve to go out, throughout the game. And it was only really because Atalanta, to me, just looked like they didn't even really want to score or push the boat out. They played exactly the same game.
Only quick minds.
Only Coop miners, but I mean the same game, the same things. What do we do? The same game, the same thing. It was the same game. It's not like we even people like we talk about we had a fast start. Yeah, we had a brilliantly fast start. We also had a fast start last week too. This time we scored it through a penalty. Then Salah misses the next chance. Then second half they had 7 shots. They had They had more shots than we did. Can you imagine that? We need a goal, and they had more shots than like. Again, like I said, when I ask Klopp to coach, I don't see the coaching. I see individual quality a lot of the time. And when individual quality can't save you, unfortunately, I need you to coach. I actually just need you to coach. I need you to do something. And you did nothing. Yeah, I can tell you're tired, man. You've run out of energy. I can tell. Let's go. That's it.
It's interesting, but I know he's obviously not making content in the minute because he's got stuff going on. But the likes of JJ that used to say, "I don't want the manager here." He said he didn't think, and it was always said with, "I respect what he's done."
Yeah,
but for about 18 months now, he said, "I think we're past it." And you guys had that sort of resurgence after his announcement, but it feels, again, hindsight's a very lucrative commodity, and you have to sort of judge people on. We just judged Arsenal on what's happened in the crunch period, and rightfully so. And Liverpool, we need to do the same thing. It's got to the crunch period, and you got knocked out the FA Cup when you should have won by United, knocked out by Atalanta with a whimper, really, and given up a 5-point lead at the top of the title. Although it's sad that he's going, maybe it's a good thing that Jurgen Klopp is leaving.
I said this when he was leaving. Look, if whatever decision that you make, if you're not fit enough to manage a club as the stature of Liverpool, honestly, I don't want you to be manager. You got to be 100% committed to this role, and I can't be having 80%, 70%, because that might not be good enough to get top 4. We need to have someone who's 100% committed to doing what he's got to do. And look, I want to just touch on what G said, because watching the game, I started to realize, and I'm no like G and I, we're just average football fans. We don't really talk about tactics. We're not football managers, but there's certain things, certain patterns of play for myself. I'm speaking for myself, that when you see a massive gap in the middle of the park, and you don't see any people making any decent runs or making only open spaces, everything being so lethargic, I got a question why Klopp allowed it to happen. Because you talk about a Klopp team, it's all about dynamic movement, always about keeping on your toes and being always putting pressure on the team. And the fact that everything was just so lethargic, one-sided, no movement, basically just long ball, route one football. It was ridiculous to see. But look, if, like I said before, if the guy said he's not 100% fit, then honestly, we shouldn't be manager of Liverpool. It's got to be someone that is 100% committed to this football club, in my opinion.
And I know, G, I know you've been someone that's been saying it. It's just, I suppose now, as maybe a lot, I just get the feeling, look at Liverpool fans' comments tonight, there's not even much defensive Klopp. When I've asked the question, do you think he gave up a bit? They're like, yeah, I think he did. And it's just it almost feels like there's a bit of a universal acceptance that him leaving might now be a really good thing.
Listen, like I say, when you're winning games, when we were top of the league, I think you said surrendering the lead by 5 points, all of that stuff, even people coming on here, like, no one cares. No, you won't care, because you're winning games, you're getting through games, and there will be a different type of narrative that will always be painted, which is mentality monsters. That's what he's installed, this, that, and the third. When it comes to these crunch times and these crunch moments, and it's happened in title races where we've drawn games, where we're on a title run trying to win and we lost by 1 point, and we've drawn games within those runs, and you think, cool. You try to put it down to various different things. You'll say injuries, you'll say I don't know, decisions, and all these other like little kind of fairy tales that we make up in our heads and stuff like that. But there's moments like this, and you can believe that, that's cool. But there's moments like this where I'm like, I just need you to coach. Like that's I didn't really know what the score was going to be, but there's no way that you bring on the players that you bring on if you're trying to tell me you're trying to win a game. That, like, come on, man. And even Klopp, I've never seen him. It looked so defeatist that I've never seen that from Klopp before. He will usually be the one who's like, let me galvanize in some way, shape, or form. But it's almost like he stood on the sideline, he saw what was going on, and he was just like, I haven't got an idea as to what to do. Now, remember, if your manager doesn't have an idea, the players don't have an idea. What are they supposed to do? Now you're asking for exactly what I said. You're asking for individual quality. I don't want individual quality constantly bailing me out. No. I want you to coach, because remember, you're world class. He's a top manager and all these other various different things. Show us. That's all I'm asking you to do. But like, listen, with no disrespect to Atalanta, because they deserve to go through. And brother, you're playing Atalanta. Like, after the first game, at least you've now got the game plan. You've got the game plan now. You know what you're gonna do this second game, etc., etc. But you played the same game. You played literally the same way that you played. Like, I mean, he's doing the press conference now. I can't hear what he's saying, but I'm just literally just sitting there thinking to myself, like, Atalanta probably just thinking, Jesus Christ, we actually just got let off here, because they just kind of played into our hands. Second half, we literally did the job that we did in the first game. Surely Liverpool trained at some point how to deal, with. I'm not saying it's easy, by the way, before anyone says, oh, it's not as easy. I know it's not easy. I know it's not one of those kind of things. I get all of that. But you're trying to tell me, with the quality of players that you've got on the pitch, really? That was the second half that you put out, where they were actually probably better than you in that second half? Come on, man. Like, you're starting to, like, these are the things that will then start to annoy me, because I'm just like, when I'm asking you to coach, you don't coach. You want to do individual quality and just nonsense. And now we're here in this position where people are now going to be saying, well, you know what? Yeah, maybe Klopp this, maybe Klopp that. I'm like, it's not even about that. Forget that he's leaving or whatever, because he's still a top coach. He's still a top manager. All these and everything he's done will never, ever get erased. We get all of that. But these are moments that we've seen throughout his tenure. Crunch moments, important moments. Hasn't really come through them more often than not. So yeah, man, like, I wasn't surprised that we went out anyway. After the first game, I said, we're not going through. We win the game, but we ain't going through, because you can just tell, like, with the way that we play.
I hear you on that. There's a comment that came through here that says turning on Klopp after what he has done is a madness. I don't think anyone's turning on Klopp here. I mean, just like as a Man United fan listening, I don't think any of the Liverpool fans are turning on Klopp. They're looking at this situation, criticizing tonight, which I think is fair, but sort of looking at it through the lens of, maybe onto pastures new for everybody now. That isn't turning on him or taking away any of his achievements. Samuel's here with us. What are you saying, bro? Samuel might have gone away from his desk. I've got a rack instead.
It's our performance in this competition is a failure. Obviously, it goes without saying that we're out, so that by definition is failure. But this is probably the competition, because I didn't think we'd really challenge for the league this season at the start of the year. But I thought this was a competition we could win. I thought Liverpool Football Club is built on the foundations of European success. People may discredit the Europa League to some extent, because it's not the same as it was. Back in the day, it was only the champions that would be in the Champions League. So if Barcelona won the league, you'd have Real Madrid, you'd have Atletico Madrid, you have Valencia, you'd have all the other. The UEFA Cup back then was more difficult to win, and there's still a certain prestige attached to it. And unfortunately, we've fallen short, and deservedly so. Atalanta across the tie were by far the better team. They, to some extent, I think they outclocked Klopp. The energy levels they showed, the closing down they showed, it was a little bit unstructured. It kind of did remind me a little bit of early Klopp Liverpool, but it was effective. They didn't give us a moment's rest, and when we had a couple of chances that we could have taken, and then would have given us a strong foothold to perhaps draw level. We didn't take them, and we deserve to be out. No excuses. They were by far the better team, and their football deserves credit. And I hope they go ahead and win it. Go on and win it.
I hear you on that. I would agree with you. I think it has to go down as failure with the level you are. And thank you for being honest.